Welcome to another episode of Project Grownup. This is a weekly podcast about conquering the phenomenon known as adulthood through hard work, discussion, and most importantly, a lot of laughs. We hope you'll be part of this project. I'm Alex, here with my co-hosts Danielle.
Hey.
And Amy.
Hey, girl, hey.
This week on Project Grownup, we have Graham Hawthorne, the founder of thisChicago. Graham, do you want to tell us a bit about the start of this brand and what inspired it?
My name is Graham Hawthorne. I'm from Chicago, and I'm the founder of thisChicago. I started up the brand because I was working on my computer. Even before pandemic, I was working from home on my computer for 8 to 12 hours a day, and I knew that I wanted to do something more because I didn't feel like I had a sense of strong community, and I also wanted to give back to the city that I grew up in. So I started thisChicago because I love art and I love expressing myself and I love letting other people express themselves. I started thisChicago about 4 or 5 months ago, and it's kind of funny because I never had the intention of starting up my own clothing brand. I think back when I was in school, kind of like a lot of other people, I would just zone out and I would just doodle in my notebook all the time. And I would just fill up my notebooks with all these little characters. And so fast forward to a little over a year ago, my girlfriend and I, we were painting out on her backyard. And I kind of started doing these characters that were loosely influenced by one of my favorite Chicago street artists, Hebrew Brantley. And then my girlfriend's older sister, she had some friends over and we were all talking. And that's where I met my partner, Laquan. And he does all the embroidery for thisChicago. So when I was over with my girlfriend, he saw our designs or my designs and was like, dude, we have to throw that onto a hoodie or a t-shirt. And I was kind of like, okay, yeah, like that would be fun. We could make a couple for, like my family and my friends. But I honestly had no intention of selling any of them. But then once I started wearing them around the city, people were commenting on them, like, where can I get one of those? How do I buy one? And I kind of just had this, I felt like such a dummy because I was like walking around with my head up my ass, didn't have a website, didn't have anything. I was like, you know what? I kind of went home and I looked in the mirror and was like, I'm so sick of my day job. I need something else that drives me and that I enjoy doing. And that was the start of thisChicago. And so I knew I wanted it to be a nonprofit because, I already have a full-time job. And I figured this would be the best way to give back, spread a little bit of love, and especially in the times that we're in right now, it's just most important.
So, Graham, how did you end up in Chicago, aside from the fact that it's the best city in the United States?
Please, come on.
Chicago.
I mean, come on.
Chicago
How about
is
that deep dish?
Yes, which is pizza, by the way. It's not, to all my East Coast friends,
Thank
it is
you.
not lasagna.
Oh,
it's phenomenal. Go Cubs. Anyways, continue.
Yes, go Cubs. And Chicago is by far the best city on the entire planet. I grew up in Columbus, and I always have Columbus in my heart. But my family moved to Chicago when I was in 3rd grade because my dad got a job with the Chicago Tribune. And Chicago is the best of the entire country. They have amazing food, nice people. You have a beautiful lake that is right next to the city. In New York, everybody's mean and cold, and
that's not true.
It's too big. It's too big.
No. It's a little too big. Chicago's the perfect blend of a huge city and a little city, and everybody can kind of find their little community and their little niche. But yeah, so I actually went to school out in Indiana for 4 years, and then I never studied abroad or anything like that. So when I got home, I was like, I need to go see more of the world besides just Chicago. I was living in my mom's basement for a year. I was like, I just can't do this anymore. So got traveling around, which is amazing. But when I got back home to Chicago, I was like, this is where I want to be. So Yeah, I've been here ever since.
So Graham, when you say it's a nonprofit, does that mean that all the money that is raised through it goes to different organizations throughout the city? Where does it go?
Yeah, so we pick our organizations on like kind of a need-based merit. So whatever organizations we feel need it the most is where we donate our funds to. Mm-hmm. So when we first launched, it was on my birthday, March 1st of 2020. And, when we first launched, the pandemic was hitting fully and Chicago public schools were shutting down, and there were just a ton of kids who were losing access to several meals throughout the day. They suddenly didn't have that resource. So we figured that we needed to partner up with some sort of organization that provides food services. And after doing a little bit of research, we decided to donate the first couple orders profits to Chicago Food Depository, just because they're a hub for over 700 food pantries throughout Chicagoland, and their network provides over 170,000 meals per day. So that was where they're an incredible organization. That's where our first batch of profits went to. But then in the aftermath of, the deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and countless other names, we decided that we wanted to partner up with organizations and businesses that were led by Black and brown people of color. And we primarily decided to donate most of our funds to Asada's Daughters, who is a Black women-led organization directed towards young people, and they provide political education, leadership development, mentorship services, and community development services, just among a whole breadth of other things. And then the second organization was My Block, My Hood, My City, and they're another Chicago-based organization. They also provide a very wide number of services, but primarily relief to small businesses and divested communities, especially communities who were hit the hardest by the pandemic. And they also provide other amazing services like providing youth with opportunities within and beyond their neighborhood, like volunteerism and community development, entrepreneurship, and kind of exposing them to different arts and cultures. And so, yeah, those are the organizations that we've decided to partner up with this far, kind of on a need basis.
You said that you had a full-time job right now, and this is something you do on the side. Do you foresee this eventually taking over that, or is this something that just kind of started because you saw a need and wanted to help out?
So I would absolutely love to quit my 9-to-5 job and just focus on thisChicago as well as other nonprofit and volunteer work. Also, primarily for two reasons. I think that as a white, heterosexual, middle-class male, I'm as privileged as can get. It's just a fact. And as much as I love the flexibility of my 9-to-5 job and the money that comes with it, I want to be able to dedicate more of my life towards lifting up the incredibly beautiful, important, unique voices that have been suppressed and stifled since the beginning of time. So there's just a lot of injustice in the world right now, and I would love to be able to focus my attention on doing anything that can fight that. The other thing is that it's just so much fucking fun. Like I said earlier, I literally spend 8 to 12 hours on the computer typing away about like financial news, and it's just not that enjoyable. But with thisChicago, I kind of feel like the guy from High Maintenance. Have any of you ever watched that show?
I haven't. But
I'll be honest, no.
So you should all check it out. It's based in New York City, Alex, so you would especially get a kick out of it. But it's about this guy who bikes around the city dealing pot, and every episode is kind of a little vignette into his customers' lives and kind of their weird relationships and stuff like that. And I think that, spending so much time alone, like at my house, working from home, working on the computer, with my full-time job, I've literally only met one of my coworkers in person, and I've been working there for 5 years.
Wow.
So I was, yeah. So I was just,
Wow.
I don't know. It's just really nice to be able to get out into the city, meet people that I would have never met before, catch up with people who I never thought I would see again. And just kind of, I don't know, just seeing what people are about and getting to know more people and having them get to know me.
Yeah, creating that sense of community. It sounds like that you might lack that at your job a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Slack gets a little old.
Slack ruins lives. There's too many threads. I'm over it.
Thank you, Danielle.
I know what's up.
Preach.
I use it too. I hate
Preach.
I want to jump back really quick. So you kind of mentioned that the organizations you're working with right now are kind of based on the need and what's going on in the world. Do you think that will continue? Like, do you think that eventually you'll just be partnered with 5 or 6 large organizations, or do you think you're going to try and keep it small within the community of who needs it the most at that time?
So that's a great question. I don't know if I have an answer to that right now. You know, we're still pretty small, and I definitely want to establish like real relationships with organizations where we're continuously giving them funds, and it's not just this like, oh, here's a little bit of money and then I'll never talk to you again.
Right.
So I think I definitely want to have like my network of organizations that I work with, but at the same time, I mean, there are just so many great organizations out there, so many great people out there who need monetary help and who need money. So in the future, I definitely want to have my circle, but I'm not going to limit it to a certain number of organizations.
So how did you find the organizations that you're working with now or have worked with in the past? Is it just through, word of mouth? Is it from Googling?
A little bit of both. My sister is, she's a huge activist and has dedicated her life to, fighting for social justice and just basic human rights. And so I everything that she forwards to me or just like talks to me about, I dive deep into. But then just, from reading the news and from social media, you find all of these incredible people who are doing awesome things. And so I'd say it's probably a little mixture of both.
Have you considered, and I'm not sure, I don't know how it works exactly, so you could probably tell me better, but I know a lot of nonprofits, like one of the main things is applying for grants to get funding to be able to do that work. Have you considered teaming up with your sis and seeing if you guys could apply for grants and then spread the love that way?
That's another great question, Amy. So that is definitely something that will be in our future. But as of right now, we have not applied for any grants. It's just been out of pocket. And then once we break even, all of the profits go out to these organizations. So as of now, no. But that is definitely something that I want to do in the future.
What has the response been like? I mean, you're only 20 something and trying to raise all this money with only a few people for all these organizations. What has that been like?
What I've come to find about launching my own brand is that if you care about something and if you provide a good product, then people want to support it. Like, people care about small businesses and they care about helping their community. And I think if I had come out with some half-ass product and was like, didn't have my heart in it, then people wouldn't be into it. But the reception has been really great. And everybody who has a sweater, I think Alex can hopefully attest to this. Like, it's a good quality sweater. It's personal. And
it is. Yeah, I love it. I also always get, every time I wear it, someone is like, oh my gosh, that sweatshirt's so cool. Like, where'd you get it?
Hell yeah. So the reception's just been great. People want to support small businesses, and it's, I don't know, we have these funky little characters, and we're working on a bunch of other initiatives to like bring in more artists and showcase their work. So that's kind of the direction where I want to take it in the future. And I think that that's only going to propel us forward.
Have you ever run into somebody who's wearing it and you're like, hey, I know who made that?
That's going to be an amazing moment, but nobody who I personally don't know yet. Like, I'll see my friends out in the neighborhood and they'll be rocking it, or like an acquaintance, but no strangers yet. I'm excited for that moment.
I know you mentioned your partner, Laquan. So how do you guys kind of divvy up the workload? I know you said you do the designs and he does the embroidering. Who makes like the social networking connections? Who does the finances? How's that kind of divvied up? Is it just you two?
So it's us two, and then our other buddy Sean Jackson. He digitalized all the designs. So they were originally paint on canvas. Sean took them from paint on canvas and turned them digital. And then our other partner is my sister, who helped with all the Photoshop, with the clothing on the website, and taking photos for our Instagram page and stuff like that. But as of right now, Laquan, what he excels at and his kind of niche is he's just like our chief embroiderer. I mean, he took out a loan to buy this amazing embroidery machine that each piece has over 15,000 individual stitches in it. So it's like, this is a high tech ass machine. And so he's all embroidery side. And right now I'm just focusing on social media presence, expanding the brand, and where I want to take it in the future.
So starting something on your own definitely seems like it's a lot of extra work when you have a 9 to 5 as well. I know that the three of us, just trying to find times to record together can be a challenge.
Oh, I'm sure.
What has been the biggest challenge in starting your own side project?
Definitely the time. I think you said it. I mean, I am lucky because I have a pretty flexible job where I could take like a 3-hour break in the middle of the day and not really have it be a thing. But yeah, I won't say I'm like overloading myself, but like there are the days where you're just like, oh my, especially with quarantine and everything going on, you're just like so gassed, and all you want to do when you get home is lay down, like crack some wine open and just veg out on like smash a couple pints of Ben and Jerry's and just not do anything. Which
absolutely,
as my girlfriend can attest to, I'll take down at least one of those in a night. So that is like, I think that's the biggest thing is, this is now like, it's part of me and I want to work at it just as hard as I work at my job, or even harder, honestly. So finding that balance is kind of a daily struggle, but it's just, I don't know, it's just too much fun to really be that big of an issue.
All right, Graham. So what do you think is the hardest part of running a nonprofit rather than if you were running a for-profit business? What's the biggest difference other than getting like funding?
Other than getting funding, the hardest part about running a nonprofit is, I think, the feeling that you're never doing enough. And this might also be a problem if I was running a for-profit, but with the nonprofit, all the funds are going to organizations that really need it. And we were kind of talking about how it's a complicated process picking like who you donate funds to. So I think, there's like a whole wide realm of people who need help right now. And there's just this feeling of not doing enough. But what I'm personally trying to work on is just focusing on what I can control and just helping out as much as I can.
Right. It's important to remember that you're doing a good thing. So small steps are better than no steps. Like, you just got to keep building from there, but don't let it discourage you at all.
There she is with those wise pieces of advice.
That's what I'm saying.
Amy's wise beyond her years. 25 or 52, I don't know.
Hopefully I don't look 52. But...
No, you definitely don't. No. But on the inside. So, Graham, if you could give one piece of advice to people who wanted to do the same thing as you, but are trying to figure it out, what would you say to them?
My number one piece of advice would definitely be to just put yourself out there as much as possible. Not a lot of people know this, but for a really long time, even up until like very recently, I suffered from horrible social anxiety. And like, to put it in perspective, I was thinking about this the other day. In college, I went to Indiana University. Shout out Hoosiers, by the way. But we would have like Indiana, they would put on networking events, like cool events where you could meet and talk to a bunch of interesting people and like find jobs that you might be super interested in. And these events are going on every single day. But I just had really bad social anxiety and I felt kind of directionless. So throughout my entire 4 years, I think I went to 2, and one of them, I literally didn't even talk to anybody. Like, I just went and kind of walked around and was just like, I was just too nervous. And I think getting over that, like launching thisChicago has been really great for me personally, because it's like, you just got to put yourself into uncomfortable situations sometimes. The only way you're going to grow as a person is if you put yourself out there, and not just settle for your comfort zone and to always try new things. So to anybody, honestly, I wanted to say this, anybody who's listening out there right now who might suffer from social anxiety or honestly any type of anxiety or anything that's holding you back from doing what you want to do, the number one piece of advice I could give is just take a deep breath. I know you three have talked about just like how breathing is so important.
What a loyal listener.
Taking a step back and like getting the full picture and then just putting yourself out there, because I always would be worrying about whether people would be thinking like, oh, this dude is lame or weird or fucking crazy. I don't know. And then so I would just stay in my room. I would just stay at my house and not do anything because of it. But once you cast that aside, you just say, fuck that. That is when you really grow as a person, and it just gets easier, honestly.
That resonates with me a lot because I have always been a super shy person. I had a lot of anxiety in social situations, making new friends, especially in college, and then, moving around the country several times. And, even now, I mean, I still do. And I think the best thing that I've done for myself is just, pushing myself over that ledge and getting myself out there and just, saying like, screw it, I'm going to do it. And let the haters hate, whatever. Like, you can't be worried about other people. You have to just do what you need to do.
I couldn't even relate more because I was so shy growing up. And now I'm on live TV. Push through. It's worth it.
There's an artist that I really love who's based out of Fort Lauderdale. His name is Renda Ryder, I believe. I hope I'm saying that right. But he just does like canvases and he repeats phrases over and over, but it's beautiful. And his main one that he got famous for says, "Your comfort zone will kill you." And that just speaks volumes, because it really will. If you stay in your comfort zone your whole life, you're not really living. So I appreciate you, Graham, for taking that leap, going balls out and just like, all right, I'm going to do this. I might sink, I might swim. We'll find out, but you went for it. And that's awesome. That's where you got to start.
Cheers to that, Amy.
Yeah. Cheers to that for sure. Leading out of that, where have you found the most success in like marketing your brand? So doing that networking, that socializing, is it like social media, word of mouth? Where have you found the most success?
So definitely a combination of both. Like I said earlier, I launched the brand at the beginning of March, and I had, summer was about to hit, and I had all these plans to set up tents and pop-up shops at music venues and street festivals and farmers markets, and get just get to know people and have people see the product physically. And obviously that all had to have the brakes pumped on it. So as of right now, it's just all been social media. I launched thisChicago on Instagram, and then I only recently got my button gear, and we came out with an awesome ass website, and I made Facebook and LinkedIn pages. And so we're definitely doing some more social media outreach right now. Gonna make a Twitter for sure. Thank you, Amy.
Yep.
But yeah, and then word of mouth. I mean, people tell their friends, and kind of like Alex mentioned earlier, you wear the product out and it's just kind of, it catches your eye, and I personally don't see a lot of embroidered clothing out there, especially not with these goofy little characters on it. So when people see it, they ask about it, and that's just been really great.
I feel like the music festivals is a great place to go to sell those items as soon as everything opens back up. I highly recommend, since you're originally a Columbus guy, to go back to Columbus next summer for ComFest. I feel like you would sell out in like 15 minutes.
I miss ComFest, dude. I grew up going to ComFest, and that's a great idea. So once everything kind of hopefully settles down, that is number one in my my little plan.
Amy, it sounds like you could be like a marketing executive or like a
I already have 3
business
Twitters. I can't sign up for more right now.
Okay. All right. 3 Twitters too much. Got it.
I do have big nonprofit dreams in my future, so I'm definitely keeping all your contact information.
Got you. Is this still light by you, Danielle?
No, it's dark.
Oh.
No, it's dark.
It looks like the sun's shining now.
Yeah,
where are you at?
It's dark though. If I was in Fargo, the sun would just still be shining.
Yeah, does the sun ever set in Fargo? Is it like Alaska? It's not.
It does. You would think it wouldn't because it's so depressing there, but it does.
I was hearing you all talk about how you just up and moved to Fargo. I guess it was for a reporting position.
Yeah.
How long did you live there for?
I lived there for 2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 2.5 years too long. But there's some really great people there.
I'm sure.
It really is. I actually, I was supposed to go visit my family in Arizona because they actually moved from Mount Prospect to Phoenix around the same time that I moved to Buffalo. But yeah, considering quarantine or coronavirus is on the rise in Arizona, I'm going to reschedule my trip and possibly go see some friends in Fargo, which is ironic because I never thought I'd be there ever again.
There you go.
So there is that. Oh, I did meet Shaq there too, so that was kind of cool.
In so Fargo? What was Shaq?
What year I was there? Probably like the first 6 months. I was like, wow, Shaq.
Was he DJing?
What? No, he was not DJing. He was just there.
Huh.
I got rejected from him for an interview, but I got a picture with him, so it's what counts. He was so nice. He's such a nice man.
I've heard that he's really good.
What'd you say?
Not nice enough to do your interview.
You know what? Listen, if everybody could reject me that way, both my personal, love life, work life, everything, I'd be okay with that.
Fair.
All right, so hop back into it. So we talked about kind of what the future plans are. Let's talk a little bit more about what you're doing right now. So what exactly does your schedule look like? So we know you have a 9 to 5. Are you doing most of this work on the weekends, in the evenings? Are you shooting out Instagram posts on your lunch break? What's that look like?
So I actually don't have a 9 to 5. I usually wake up at around like 6:30 and I'll work until 11. And then I take like a 3 to 4 hour break and then kind of write some articles from 3 to 6-ish. So I got just kind of a little hodgepodge of a day going right now. But I don't know, it just works. And it kind of helps me because I get totally fried if I'm staring at a computer for too long. So it's like a nice little balance throughout the day.
Definitely. So what do you actually do for your quote unquote 9 to 5 job?
You know, that's a great question. And sometimes I don't even know. I aggregate financial news. So that means that I take, let's say a company is buying another company and they issue a press release about it. I am going in and researching the deal. I'm finding every little bit that I can and kind of lumping it all into one blurb. And then I push that blurb out. I get paid commission for it. And we were talking about how we hate Slack earlier. I just want to reiterate, I cannot stand Slack because it's just too many threads. It's a Shark Tank of just like, and so me and all my coworkers, we work for commission. And so people are always fighting like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And like, oh, you said you're doing this and you're doing something else. And I don't know. It's just like none of us have ever met each other and we're all just fighting constantly. So that's my day.
Yeah. So, wow. Graham, if you could have any person or celebrity wear your designs, who would it be?
He's been catching a lot of flack in the media recently, but definitely Kanye.
I knew it. I don't know why, but I felt that was coming.
He was rock
Wait, who is it that cut out?
Kanye.
Oh, okay.
Mr. West.
Dude, that's the best idea. Kanye would rock one of them hoodies. Oh my goodness. You could blow up tomorrow. You should. Have you hit him up? Have you DM'd Kanye? Because if not, do that tomorrow.
I feel
you
like
just gotta send him one.
I feel like if
have him like come in the mail.
Would support another Chicagoan, it would be Chance.
Yeah. Oh well, Chance would too. Chance would look dope in that too.
Also, Kanye might get you some slack. Not the. I mean, both. Not
the app.
Apparently, you know what I mean. Go with Chance.
So, to answer your question, Amy, I DM Kanye every single day.
Good.
Asking it literally every day. I have it copied and pasted, and maybe I should switch up the message a little bit, but every single day I copy and paste him asking him where I can send him one. And to answer to kind of go off of what you were saying, like send Kanye or Chance a hoodie. I've sent out a good amount of hoodies just like through DMs. Like I'll DM my favorite street artists or just cool, kind of more low-key rappers throughout Chicago, or not even necessarily rappers, but any musician. And so I've sent a decent amount out. JC Rivera is a huge Chicago street artist, and he's rocking with us. Alex, I don't know if you've ever heard of Alan Kingdom, but he's a New York rapper, and he's rocking with us. John Doe, she's an awesome Chicago rapper. She's also rocking with us. So it's kind of been like, that's where I want to, I don't know. It would just be so cool to see Kanye or Chance.
You already have celebrities, though. You already got people.
Dude, I got Alex rocking with us. I mean, that's literally, that's why.
True. You got a celebrity in your midst.
That's what I'm saying. I consider this Chicago a success story every single day because of that. And honestly, because, Alex, we're little kids together, and I moved and whatever. Like, who would have ever thought that we would be on a podcast yet, or I'd be on your podcast? It's just so fun. And so yeah, I just consider the Chicago a success story every single day because of that.
Absolutely.
So Graham, really quick piece of advice. So have you heard of Lyrical Lemonade before?
Yes.
So Cole Bennett was actually in my speech class.
No way.
You should definitely reach out to him. I don't know him personally enough.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt he even remembers me.
I'm sure he remembers you.
I doubt it. But anyways, I would definitely say reach out to him and just see if he'd be willing to help you out, because he seems like a pretty decent person, at least for my class. So maybe he'll answer. Maybe he'll be able to get somebody to wear it. You never know, especially because it's for a good cause.
His music videos are so cool too.
Oh yeah, this dude was in my class. I still cannot believe it. This man was invited to the Super Bowl. He's probably 2 years younger than me and making a lot more money than me too. And I moved twice across the country now.
How are his speeches though?
They were better than mine. I blacked out, so.
I've just been blacked out for this whole podcast, honestly.
That's how you know you did well. It's fine.
Yeah, I hope. But that is a great idea, and I haven't reached out to Cole yet, but I definitely will.
I don't know if that'll answer, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like he might. You never know.
I was just actually on the Lyrical Lemonade Instagram page. I think they have 2 to 3 million followers. So
yeah, it kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
If I knew it was the Paul email, I'd be like, here you go. But I doubt he uses that. So.
So what? Okay. Oh, he went to DePaul. I thought you were saying that he went to Mount Prospect.
No. He was in my speech class at DePaul that I took just to get out of my comfort zone. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is I'll send. So Alex, you already have some gear. I'm gonna send Danielle and Amy. I'm gonna send you both some gear, and then we'll get Cole to get us all in a music video.
Yes.
And once Kanye answers my fucking DM, he'll just fucking rap on it, and us four will just be in the back. Just
maybe you need to message Kim, because the wives are always in charge.
That's
hit up Kim, hit up Kris Jenner, because Kris Jenner is momager. She runs everything.
Mother-in-laws, they're even more in charge. So you hit one of them up.
Hit up the Lord Scott Disick, because I feel like.
Oh, my king, Scott.
He would look good in that hoodie.
He would look so fresh on his fucking private jet, just mean mugging, just not making a face, but making a face at the same time. I have a total man crush on Scott.
Oh, do you?
He doesn't. He really doesn't.
He's such a dick though.
He is, but he's grown. He's grown a lot, so can't be too mad.
The very first episode of the Kardashians that I ever saw was when him and Rob get just super drunk
when he shoves the money in the waiter's mouth.
Yep.
Dude, that was the most embarrassing thing for that family. I was petrified for all of them.
That poor family is just all drama. It's just all.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie though, that's my guilty pleasure. I try to be smart and fancy, but I've watched.
I wish it wasn't, but it's same.
I went when we all went on vacation in Miami, and I went to their store, the Dash store, and bought Chloe's book and took a picture with the Dash dolls. I was in it. I was loving it. I can't even.
What do the Dash dolls look like? Are they
They're just cute girls. It's basically a Hooters, but for a boutique. So they're all just cute girls that sell the merch.
Got you.
I didn't know they had an official name. But
Yeah, they had a whole show, but it only lasted like one season. Anyways, back to what we were talking about.
I hope this is all going on the show.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is. It is. Don't you worry.
So obviously, doing a nonprofit or any kind of brand or startup is a lot of work behind the scenes. It's a lot of social connections. A lot's going into it. I do have to ask. So to take you back before you even had this on March 2nd, March 1st? March 1st. What is something that you believed before March 1st, before starting thisChicago, but you think differently now? It's a really open-ended question.
That's another good question. Y'all are hitting me with the good ones today.
Hitting you with the tough questions.
You can think about it.
So something that I thought then, or something that I thought
earlier, but now it's different.
Okay, so we were talking about this earlier about social anxiety. I truly believed when I put, this is how just screwed up, my thought process is that I truly believed that when I put out thisChicago, and this is just, I'm just being completely honest, I did not think that anybody besides my close group of friends and my family was going to want to get involved with it. And that was a really important personal discovery for me, was that the opposite was actually the case, is that I had set up this boundaries box in my head where it's people are going to think it sucks just because whatever. I was just didn't have the highest self-esteem about it. I didn't have that confidence about it. So launching it and watching it grow and continuously growing it every single day has just showed me how much of an idiot I was being beforehand. So that has been really important for me. And I hope, I hope anybody who's listening to this right now, if you have anything holding you back right now, just fucking do it. Just go for it.
That's the best advice. That really is. It's hard to get yourself to just do it, but like you said, at the end of the day, you can be your own worst enemy, the most negative person that's going to hold you back.
You're your own worst critic, but you got to get over it. Story of my life.
Mine too.
On that note, though, what gave you that bravery to actually take the leap? Knowing that you're it might just be my friends. People might make fun of me, thinking that, what's he out here doing? What made you finally just be all right, you know what? Screw it. Let's try.
Dude, honestly, I was just fucking sick of that mindset. I was I could never take a compliment, because if somebody ever complimented me, I'd be no, oh no, you're,
I'm
no,
terrible.
just gotta, yeah. And so I just reached this point where I was you know what? Fuck that. I'm tired of living that way, and I know that I deserve better than that. And it's just, I don't know. It's just I want to be putting out positive energy into the world. I don't want to be harnessing all this negative energy. So I just kind of reached a tipping point. I don't know if there's anything specific, but I think I just reached a point where I was just I'm going to do this, and I don't give a shit. So sorry I know I swear a lot. I don't know.
You're good. You're good.
Are we good with swearing on the podcast?
We put disclaimers in the interview episodes.
Okay, cool. I know you probably had some little kids listening who was what does this word mean?
Love it.
So, Graham, it's been so amazing talking to you. We've got some great insights. You've inspired all of us, I truly believe. And we're all super hyped because we know one day either Disick or Kanye are going to be wearing your outfits.
Or Chance.
Let me not discount Chance. So, just to wrap this episode up, tell us what you have going on, where everybody can find you on social media, what to look out for in the future. Give yourself a little plug. You got 60 seconds to go.
So you can all follow me at this.Chicago on Instagram. Our Facebook page is thisChicago, no space, and our LinkedIn page is the same. If you want to follow my personal page, that's at gra on Instagram.
Spell it.
We'll definitely link that below.
Link that below. That's 4 gras, no
That
H.
sounds like something like you'd hear in like the Sesame Street or whatever. Big word, gra 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 gra.
Shit, I would love to get on Sesame Street, honestly. But so yeah, you can find me there. And if you want to check out our website, which is so fucking cool, shout out to my sister Penny because she helped out just so much with it. And we have a bunch of cool features from artists from all over the world on it. That's www.thisChicago.shop. Peace and love you all.
All right, so before we wrap up, we got to do that slay the Q&A. We got one rapid fire, a big question for our man Graham here. I know you're from Chicago, but you know that thin slice New York pizza is where it's at, honey. Tell me I'm
Amy.
right.
No.
I got 2 things to say to you, Amy. If I'm in New York, I got to get some Joe's, and I got to get some marinara. Chicago deep dish pizza destroys both of them combined. It is to anybody who says that deep dish is lasagna, you're twisted in the head, you're sick, go to a doctor, get yourself checked out because something's wrong. I mean, geez, get yourself some Chicago deep dish and get your mind right. Chicago deep dish every day.
Also, Graham, can we just talk for a second? We still have thin crust too. And it is phenomenal.
It's great.
It's better than NYC
thin
pizza.
slice deep dish. Is that what that is?
It's not a thing.
There's the deep dish that everybody knows, which is phenomenal, and then there's also thin crust, which is also phenomenal.
What is that? Regular pizza?
Thin crust, whereas like New York City pizza, you can't even hold it; it falls apart in your hand.
That's why you fold it, sister.
No, this is
like
not
a taco
debate. This is a pizza debate. Okay, know your foods.
I can't handle all that bread. Sister's over here trying to work on her carb load. I cannot eat in a whole pie like that. Like that must be why they call it a pie, because that crust is too thick.
No, it's thick with 2 C's, just like everybody should be. Okay.
That pizza will make you thick with 2 C's.
Mm-hmm.
The people have spoken. Graham is the people, but let's ignore that. For now, we're gonna
I guess that's why I have a donk. Too much deep dish.
Join us for new episodes every week. They will drop Monday, so you can start your week off right as we unravel another chapter of Project Grownup.
Hopefully you found some keys to success in this episode. Cheers to another week of trying to be a grown-up.
Cheers, ladies.
Cheers, everyone.